This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the mayor.
Yo, it's ODB, and I want to let everyone know before we jump into this episode, a big thank you to Scraping the Coast, the team behind Custom Car Show Productions. It's going to be an amazing 20th anniversary. They're lining up awesome vehicles already to showcase at one of the biggest, baddest shows in the country. It's June 24th, 25th, 26th in Biloxi. Scraping, that's Scraping with an I-N, the Coast.com. Big ups to the family. We hope to see you out there. Much more to come on this famed show. Also, don't want to forget about Mini Truck Showdown family. Their next event on paper is going to be February of 2023, and that is going to be out there in Bakersfield, California. So much more coming on Kern County Showdown. Keep it tuned to OLP, and thank you so much to our title sponsors. Big ups. We'll see you at Scraping the Coast in less than 2 months. What would you say, like banging out like a what?
Banging out like an old broad on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, the only way. Yo, it's Our Lifestyle Podcast, episode 286 coming at you from back here in Florida. And I think Mickety Mike the mayor, I heard him cough a second ago. Mike, did you dial into the conference?
Bro, I am here, and bro, am I so happy to be on here and to be back in the good old Sunshine State. So looking forward to it, brother.
Man, I can't wait to talk so much on this episode. When I talked to Shannon the other day, she said, Mike likes being back in the saddle, dude, as the gallivanting man, and we've got a lot of gallivanting to talk about. But this episode, what we're going to do is kind of the Mini Truckin Extravaganza. We're going to talk to different people. We're going to keep our segment shorter just to keep things mixed up, Mike, which I think is cool. And, man, I'm excited. I've lined up Ashley and Andy and Tom and the Tom and Jerry. I mean, the Tom and Joey show, maybe even Deener. You know what I'm saying? We've lined up. We did some audio with some different people, and I think it's going to be fun, man.
Oh, absolutely. And it's almost as good as this damn weekend, brother, because I tell you what, we had a freaking fantastic weekend, and looks like from all the pictures and the videos that everybody's popping up, it's like, wow, what a absolute, just a killer weekend, man. Everybody together and everybody hanging out, and man, how many like finished new trucks, new builds, new debuts were at Mini Nats this past weekend.
Dude, I can't wait to talk about it. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about. But, Mike, I got to remind everyone first that AccuAir is on board. They're down with OLP. I went to their website the other day, Mike, AccuAir, ACCUAir, AccuAir.com. And, dude, they have continued to even refresh the website. They're even selling fiction fabrication brackets on their main page. But, Mike, you know what I love? They support the lifestyle. Have you seen those air fresheners, dog?
Bro, seeing the air fresheners, I mean, they just keep hitting us, one right after another. And it just keeps getting better and better, bro.
Yeah, and we got to be careful, Mike, because they also got media on there under their main headers. And, man, they're going to take over OLP here, I think. They've got Dino's Get Down 2021, trucks, coverage. Dude, their site is going to be kind of a plethora of different things. So we would encourage folks, AccuAir.com, buy a shirt, buy some merch. Hey, level up is the way I'm going to say it with AccuAir. Get their kits today for your rides. Man, they'll take care of you, Mike.
Oh, absolutely, brother. And they always do. And always looking for that new because they always got something new coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Now, listen, the last episode recap, we're just going to kind of mesh this in right now and dive right in, as Mike said a minute ago. We want to talk in our segment about the biggest, baddest mini truck show, in my opinion, in the galaxy. That's Southeast Mini Truckin Nats, also known as Mini Nats. Mike, we switched the plan up. Quick, brief overview of our gallivant there. And on Wednesday, you peeled out of town. Apparently, I saw something, a white van bellowing smoke, peeling out, getting ready to almost blow the tires out. But that's your kind of way to kind of say, gentlemen, start your engines, right? And then when you peel out of Naples, bro, you were up here in a jiffy, and the rest of that day went pretty good. That was Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Wednesday after we got out of work, and dude, it was a good time. That's for damn sure, brother. It was a good trip. We broke it up. We got there earlier than we've ever gotten there before, and I look forward to getting there on a Thursday, even earlier next year. Because I tell you what, the getting there on a Thursday definitely works out a whole lot better than coming in on a Friday.
Yeah, Airhead Nation, I want to know, we give Mike a hard time a lot of times taking points and tick marks. But, Mike, I thought about this long and hard. I mean, I've been about, a whole good night rest trying to think through it. But I want to make sure you get the 2 tick marks in your binder because, dude, you drove there all the way. You came all the way back. You had to deal with the rental van fiasco, dude. You had to almost go top ropes, possibly hell in the cell with the employees there. Oh. But that all worked out, man. And I'll tell you what. It's that smooth-talking Mike Murray, the mayor, that can kind of really, make this stuff happen.
Well, Jay, I don't know if you noticed, but you said long and hard.
Yeah, and Hank wasn't involved with that that message, right? To the people.
Well, bro, we got to meet the real Hank Norris live and in person this weekend at Mini Nats.
Yeah, he's claiming Hank, but I think he's only doing it for tax purposes. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could be wrong. But, dude, enough of that. When we stopped in Lake City, we woke up the next morning, we had the Breakfast of Champions at Chick-fil-A. And then I tell you what, we got into town, like you said, at a very nice, manageable time. We had the booth set up in no time. And it was really cool because Thursday was kind of the mingle day, right? Link up with DJ Mays, see Diggity Dom, float around, right? Mostly over on the side of the fairgrounds. And Mike, just seeing everyone with a little bit tad cooler of weather, it just set the tone for the rest of that weekend.
Bro, this weekend was the best weather I think we've ever had at Mini Nats, and I mean, I can't think of a better weekend as far as with the weather. It was perfect, bro. Absolutely perfect, and we absolutely killed it. Definitely want to say thanks to everybody that stopped by and supported OLP, and the continued support is it's overwhelming, bro.
It absolutely is, and again, it's fantastic because. To have the conversations that we did, I posted one album that was just the people. And, of course, Ronnie, I think, says it best over at C10 Talk Media, or rather Truck Talk Media. The trucks are cool. The people are cooler. My spin on that is, the scene of ours, it runs deep. And the conversations, I always say this, that's the most important thing. The people of the scene, but talking to people, linking up with people, even if they can only listen to an episode here and there, the recognition that they try to give us. But listen, at the end of the day, we do it just for the love of doing it. So, to your point, Mike, to kind of piggyback off what you said, it was fantastic. And I tell you, seeing Tony Moore and family with Asphalt Army, Hammered Weekend Wear with Hank, Dizzy, and Adam holding it down. And then, oh, by the way, Sean Rose, DJ Mays, David Magotti was there in the booth as well. These are the kinfolk that we want to align with, right? And being able to be there and be set up near these guys right next to them, dude, I tell you, there's no other place I want to be last weekend in April every year than Maggie Valley.
You ain't lying, brother. And we can't forget about our boy Joey Dilworth over at Get Decked, for taking good care of us and always getting us those decks because man, I think we sold every one of them except for 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, got to thank Joey at Get Decked, as Mike said. And the cool thing is, it's easy to work with him. Joey, I believe, had delivered well over 100 decks that weekend. He's got bigger orders even coming. I know, like Lone Star Throwdown. I know Southeast Mini Nats and other shows. I think even Craig at Battle and Bama. These guys are going big, and what's cool is it shows, Mike, the word that I'll use is the appetite. People want merchandise for what they love, and we've been very fortunate to even work back with folks like Welch's Chop Shop. He delivered a lot of the what we call the smaller metal signs, or they're aluminium. But Mike, being able to offer different products, different price points, everything from stickers to banners, all the way up to the smaller metal signs, and then the bigger aluminum. It's really cool. And I tell you what, the collectible aspect of it, there's plenty out there to get, ain't there, man?
Yeah, absolutely. And, like you had mentioned, Josh Welch over at Welch's Chop Shop, and he was actually giving us even more ideas for some more stuff that he can do. And I'm definitely looking forward to the things that we're going to be able to drop, with him. So, but I mean, it's just, man, we work with so many great people, and to be able to see Radar and Lonnie and Crystal over at Garage Gear and their continued support of our lifestyle, the podcast. And, guys, make sure if you guys are at a show that you guys definitely stop by and see them over there and pick up some of that awesome gear that they have, because it's some of the best in the scene, with those guys over there, and those girls, of course. And of course we got to see our favorite hillbillies. We can't forget about, common lowest common denominator, the podcast, and they were all out there. So just good times, and look forward to the next time. And like you mentioned earlier, Dizzy and Adam over at the Spark Show, now running the East Hammered. So hey, it gets better and better, man. It doesn't get no better than going to a truck show and seeing all your truck friends and your car and truck family, is what we could call them.
Yeah, they're East siding with their Crip from the Blue Division, I think, Crip game, which is Hank, I think. I think Hank is the only person I know that's bloody in Crip. He claims them both. I don't know how. But, to your point, the great thing about this event is Jason Bell and the team behind Mini Nats has continued to offer a lot of different things, and they kind of had some different round tables. I know you and I participated 2 days. I mean, I'm so thankful that I don't even feel like, honestly, I'm saying this truthfully, I don't even think I feel like I shouldn't even be up there, because there's so many good people in the scene, and I get sick of, sometimes, hearing myself talk, but, the people that came up to ask questions to, LMC, Farva, Glenn, Miggity Mike the Mayor, myself, DJ Mays, of course, was emceeing that. We had some other folks crash it on, what was it, Friday night with Tom and Jerry. So, Tom and Joey. But, to me, those different aspects, hey, maybe you're not the talk radio guy and you didn't want to listen to that. Okay, cool. There's other stuff going on. Jason Bell offers, almost like I said, with that agenda, it almost makes me feel like I'm in a Carnival cruise where you got to get the agenda for that day, because it's going to be popping off from beginning to end. And although sometimes, Mike, the times might shift a little bit, they really did stay on point. Oh,
dude, they absolutely killed it. And we definitely give, hats off to DJ Mays for putting that all together and bringing us all together. And we can't forget Jeremy, and Farva, the JV team, over there. But it was just good to see everybody, man. It was good to get together and we're all, we all do the different podcasts, and to be able to come together all in one place and to be on the stage all together and, be able to voice our opinions and our views and be able to just to hang out and have a damn good time. It was awesome, bro.
Yeah, it made me feel good when they all said, what's your favorite mod, when Mays asked us that. And everybody said the Gold Wing Doors, and they were really rooting you on, and they go, Go Wing Doors, Go Wing Doors. And then Mike had this smile, and Mike, we just know that, you're feeling good about it. So we're excited for when you're going to let us cut the doors and make all that happen. I think it's going to be cool, man.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be really cool. Really cool.
I want to thank on Friday Randy Frederick from NC Florida. He had invited me up to spend some time. It was perfect. I so appreciate it. Got a chance to go up there on Thursday and hang out with some of the guys, Tommy, NC Green Card, of course, Fulber, and, just the crew. They're great folks, man, from that region. And it was awesome to have Eric Fulber on, one of our most downloaded episodes, I'll throw it out there, of this year. And there's a rich history of the guys. There was a lot of ladies, or some I can't remember their names, and they just talked to so many people that night. The Hatred Fab was there with the Crew Cab S10. You also had your boy Jalopy Joe comes there, dude. He strolled up, and I said, "Hold on, man. We gotta see. We gotta check your creds." And I go, "Oh no, wait. He's patched in with hanging out with all of us." So, it was cool. And again, not even name dropping, just the opportunity. I try not to, especially at this show, plan too much in the evenings because, Mike, you and I have stayed at shows till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. You walk out front, that's like 2.0 because then you got the cruising. So I really didn't want to be too much on a schedule, but it was cool that they said, hey, come through, come on up the mountain. They made sure I got home safe. Randy did, so thanks so much to the big homie. And that was a good time. Mike, you guys also kind of gallivanted around a little bit on Friday, and then I think was it Saturday, you had a club dinner with the Aftermath crew?
Oh, yeah. That's my fam. And, dude, we had a good time hanging out with those guys. And, man, did they all come out strong. Hats off to the Aftermath guys, from Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio, Florida, of course, Georgia. So, from all over the place, Texas. And I'm probably forgetting somebody, but dude, it's always a good time to hang out with those guys and girls. And so always a good time. Always look forward to seeing those guys.
A couple things I had saved, and then I did want to just hit on a few things from the weekend. But Thad Cunningham, great dude. Not only did he bring out Old Crispy, the famous S10, that just to remind everyone, it was on 2 covers for Street Trucks. I think Brandon Burrell, I believe, shot both. I'm pretty certain on that. He had made an amazing metal sign. And the reason why I want to say that, Mike, this is not the trivia question, but do you know approximately how much Spreading the Love and Sean Rose and David McGotti and some of these folks, even Jason Bell in there and the Mittler Brothers deal, how much money they raised to help a family, bro?
Was it $29,000?
It was right around there. I believe that was the number that was stuck in my head. And Mike, when I was out there taking photos and kind of listening in, DJ Mays from DJ Mays Radio on Twitch, by the way. He's out there doing a fantastic job, one of the best MC jobs, I'll be honest, that I heard ever at an event. And he reinforced, someone sent in, Mike, I don't know if you heard this, Mini Truckin Magazine volume, the first issue. They sent that in, and I believe there was no name attached to it. They did it as just a way to give into the charity, and that magazine went for $1,000.
Damn.
So it was pretty awesome.
Was that ODB?
That was not my copy, I'll be honest, man. I cannot take credit for that.
Oh, okay. Because I know ODB's got it.
Yeah, thanks to Jim, I got it. So, I'm much appreciated to him. Now, the other thing that I thought was cool is you mentioned the amount of trucks. I mean, there were debuts. There were so many different trucks, and off the top of my head, I'm not going to rattle through them, all right? So don't ask me to freestyle, but I can think of 10, 11 trucks, and one of those trucks really was on the cover twice. It was Old Crispy. That would, if you were counting covers, you could, right there's Boom 12. I could think of 12. I know there were more, not just mini trucking. We're talking street trucks, trucking, common treads, all-time low. Again, there were at least 10, 12 covers there. And I know there were more. I have to think through them all. But to me, Mike, the amount of people and trucks and the cruising aspect, it's a totally unique experience because it's not just a show. And someone had mentioned to me that, I think it was Tim from NC Florida. He was up there as well. And he said, folks like Randy and a lot of these other guys like to go because their wives also can go and they can enjoy the show, but they can also go back to the cabin and they can hang out and sip a drink or sit on the back porch, or whatever. And I think that's the coolest thing about it. Mike, you had the Low Bros. We'll talk to Deener hopefully later. They peeled out for a whole week and they were out gallivanting all around doing sightseeing. You'd be hard-pressed to find another show in the world that you can do so much in 1 week, let alone a weekend.
Yeah, and you mentioned Low Bros. How about Fatty B and the debut of his truck?
Marshall Law.
Man, that thing not look good? Or I mean, come on, that thing was beautiful.
Yeah, we were just trying to throw everyone off last week with the black color because, it was a black and white photo, right, Mike?
Exactly.
Yeah, the graphics look good. Here's a few other things I had saved from the show. I'm going to try to link up with Andy Harman, 3.5-year build. They pulled off Tacoma, I think is Tuckoma. Extreme lows, obviously they came hard in the paint. We will talk to Ashley as well. I thought that was pretty cool. Did you happen to see our boy Colin, right? So Brian Hagee and his son Colin, just a year ago, Colin's getting his truck given to him, which was amazing. And I love this one photo that he got, his dad's riding saying peace out. Colin's enjoying it, recently repainted, and repping OLP on the back, dog.
Oh, dude, he absolutely killed it. And hats off to him. The high school hauler, I believe is what they call it. And, dude, it's never looked so damn good.
Yeah, no doubt. And confirmed, Sean Rose says we'd like to announce between Spreading the Love auction and the bead roller machine raffle, we'll be donating $29,000 to Ashley Harman and her family. So truly, truly amazing stuff. Now, again, I mentioned Deener and the Low Bros crew, including Fatty B, and that was cool to see. Pinky Promise, he also took home an award, which was cool. And we always love seeing our Florida kinfolk up there, don't we, Mike?
Oh, bro. And, another person that we had, ran into while we were there was Shane and condolences for the loss of his grandfather.
Oh, that's
but Shane,
right.
yes. And, geez, what am I trying to say now? But his truck is done and it will be on display at Battle in Bama. And I cannot wait to see this truck. Look forward to seeing. I mean, after that long, I think 3 years build on this truck, and the tribute to his dad, his uncle, his grandfather, everybody that served, and so this is the reason why he built this truck. His brother. So I look forward to seeing this truck, done.
Yeah, recent guests, go back and listen to that one. I mean, salute to all the troops worldwide. We'll even throw it out to the first responders as well. Everyone that kind of falls under that, even Leo, if you will, category. I loved seeing Bobby Arkwright. He brought out Hammer Time. And, Mike, I know you were trying to hit them all and get the Z Cavaricis, and you had this whole idea to be part of the display and do the hammer dance. But when he brings out Hammer Time, and you're talking about a truck that was featured 30 years ago that looks the same, I mean, it's truly amazing.
Yeah, can't touch this.
Yeah, exactly. That dude, it has to be his plate. I mean, I know Bobby and I know his plates. I'm sure he's already got it. I think it does say Hammer Time. But, dude, if he could just get like a front plate that said you can't touch this, I mean, I would be on board with that.
Definitely. And, man, I tell you what, it was cool to finally see Little Sean Rose brought Little E out to the shows. And so it was good to see him out there and finally meet him. And man, I tell you what better show to go to for the first one than to go to freaking Mini Nats and to see his dad and the rest of everybody else raise $29,000. So to be able to be a part of all that, I think that's pretty special.
Yeah, 1,000%. We can't name everyone, but I can tell you what, folks like Candace and JP came by and they talked about Southern Tradition, which is always that weekend after July 4th weekend up in Georgia, the Canton area. They came by, as did Walka, and, just had great conversations. We had William Spear drive 2,971 miles. I think he got sick of me saying it, all the way from Oregon. Now, he did trailer in. He took the big wheels off the lifted Toyota, only to remember when he got there, he forgot his lug nuts. But luckily, you can still get nuts for that truck, Mike. And he did, and he had it there parked in the booth. And to your point, it was truly amazing to see how many people came by. And, Mike, between his lifted truck that he's had since brand new, and then I forget the guy's name that has the orange one that was out in the show field, that was lifted. Both of those trucks, they have both owned them since they were brand new. And they're both like shows or trucks that could win like Best of Show at so many awards. Pretty cool to see that out there at Southeast Mini Nats.
Oh, man. And, hey, somebody had said something about, is that a mini truck? Damn right it's a mini truck. Come on, dog. It's just a little bit higher than all the others. That's all.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You had Mike and Kate Simpson, Hardwood. I got a chance to meet Frank from Severed, New York, and different Severed folks. We took a group photo, about 8 or 9 chapters representing, of course, our 30th this year, as well as NC. And on Saturday night, Chad Luke, they invited me up to their place, and it was perfect because, man, dude, I was starving. And they go, come on up. We got plenty of food. So I got a chance to hang out with different clubs there, including Down to Earth. So it was really cool that he came out from California. He was in town, in Georgia, rather, doing some filming stuff. That was pretty cool. Mike, the other aspect and I want to hit on is if you guys haven't, go back on our Instagram. Unfortunately, they don't batch to Facebook, but look at some of our reels, and you'll see that I had an opportunity to cruise in Relax Taco. And I think one of the highlights of the weekend for me was seeing Far From Losing not only cruise, I had a front row view, Mike, to the cruising, but also he took a sip of the potion and he hit the 3-wheel motion. He sucked in that front passenger side wheel, and the crowd went wild. Dave Schulman and Fester, those guys were right there to take photos. Dave shared one with me, Mike, and I'll tell you what, if that's not a poster, I don't know what is, man.
Would definitely be a good one, and quit telling everybody about it, and let's just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. So I guess in closing, I mean, there were a million things I wanted to talk about the show, and we'll hit on some more with some of the guests that are going to be coming on. But, Mike, I would tell anyone, listen, you got to come out to the show next year. I know NC Florida, Tim, one of our big homies, he said, look, I'm not going to miss it. It's truly, if you're a mini trucker or you love this scene as much as I do, or as much as we do, whether it's lifted, lowered, a Cadillac, a Lincoln, everything is there. Come on out. Book your rooms now. I'm serious. And get ready for the ride for next year. Is going to be the 29th annual, Mike. And I know I'm going to want to come off the top ropes.
Oh, dude, I'm coming off the top of the Hell in the Cell match. You know what I'm saying? And I got to give a shout out to my favorite beer boy and beer girl, because Crystal and Ben Smith hooked me up all weekend with the Bud Lights. So, man, I got to give a shout out to those guys.
Yeah, great kinfolk, and I'm glad you got that one in. I was just thinking of them, and they had posted a photo that I took with them. They're great people. They're always supporting the scene, and it's pretty cool. And I heard some talk about maybe them coming to Florida next year, but I don't know, Mike. I don't know.
Well, I know exactly where they're going to be coming, and they're going to be coming to Eastbound Get Down, January 13th through the 15th, 2023. Destination Daytona. It's going down, brother.
I can't wait, dude. Well, listen, I know we want to cut our segment a little bit short, but I got to ask the trivia with Mike. Mike, are you ready, brother, for this liftoff?
Okay, players, now it's time to get serious.
Are you ready?
So I know the Airhead Nation, they're going to say this one's kind of maybe an easier one. But I couldn't go through the month or the 1986 without talking about this one, at least bringing it up. So I'm going to hit on this one, Mike. And it's kind of going to be like one of those old like TV shows where they ask you, where were you on the night of such and such, such and such? And I'm thinking, man, how would someone remember that? And then I remember, well, I got to ask you those kind of questions, And this tragic event happened on January 28th of 1986. All right. It was about 11:39 a.m. Eastern Time and 13 seconds. And it's something that's been etched in my mind. I know as a Floridian, I'll never forget it. And again, I know it's maybe not a positive topic to talk about, but it is a part of our, history and our culture. And man, do you remember what happened on January 28th, 1986?
86. I'm almost wondering if it had to do with the space shuttle.
It did. And last year, if you think about it, was the 35th anniversary. And what's crazy is, next year, is going to be another year past. And of course, unfortunately, we lost a lot of different astronauts that day. But I would encourage anyone, even you, Mike, if you guys haven't, on Netflix, they have a really good special. I think it came out to coincide with this last January of 2021, I believe it came out, and it's really, really good. And again, I know it's not a super positive subject, but it truly is a great documentary style, multi-part deal on Netflix. And Mike, it really reinforces there were things on there that I didn't know about, crazy stuff. And if they had went up when it wasn't so cold, it may have never happened. But it's just one of those things. And I thought 1986, that's etched in my mind. I remember exactly where I was standing in elementary school. We all went out. Speaking of that, did you guys go out and watch it? Like some of us would, I guess, in the early days. Of course, I'm up in Tampa. You were in like Ruskin area, right?
Yeah. That's what I was about to say, because we also were outside watching it as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. So rest in peace to everyone that we lost with that one. And Mike, you do get the tick mark this week. Great job. So I think I'm going to wrap it here, unless you got anything, last thing you want to say before we cut into some of the audio.
The only thing that I want to say is, I think I touched on it earlier, is just, thank everybody again for all the support, coming out and seeing us at East, Truck Nats, and, and supporting us, and just everybody, which I know Joey and Tom are still on the way back home, heading back over to the West Coast. So definitely be safe. And Will, thanks for being in our booth, and he's probably still on his way back home as well. So you guys continue driving safe, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Eric as well with the golf cart. He was able to gallivant on in with his family. We had a great time. But Mike, like you said, we sum it up and say we're going to keep the pedal stomped the rest of the year, bringing content. But just know, in a year from now, we will be back in Maggie Valley. And I'll tell you what, if I had better signal, I would have posted even more. But it was almost refreshing not being on our phones the entire time. So stay on the rise, everyone. And we're going to cut into some of the audio that we did and we're getting ready to do.
Absolutely, brother. Hey, Airhead Nation, live low.
Peace. Hey, so Mike and I just wrapped and had to call Ashley and say, tip of the cap for having your truck out there. How you doing, Ashley?
Good.
And it's Ashley Wimmer, right?
Yes, sir.
So we love some extreme lows. You guys always go hard in the paint, okay? I got a chance to come by and we chatted a few minutes. Talk to us a little bit about having your Tacoma out there.
It was on pins and needles at first, thinking it wasn't going to make it. And then when we finally got it ready and made it, it was incredible. I never thought, honestly, the paint was going to turn out to pop in the sunlight as much as it really did.
Yeah, I struggled to pick a song for the reel that I put out there, and I was like, I know it's not lemon color, but I picked the song. I think people liked it, and well over 5,000 views on the Tacoma, so I'd encourage folks, go to our Instagram and click on the second kind of logo on the bio to see the reels. The truck came out so nice. When did you acquire the truck?
Actually had it a year and a half, kind of behind the scenes, didn't really let anybody know I had it or was working on it at all.
Yeah, and it came out pretty cool. And one thing I noticed on the interior is there's a lot of people out there that still love BAD, right? And you have a BAD steering wheel in it.
Yes.
And I thought that was pretty cool. What was the vision when you first got the truck?
Initially started with just kind of was going to throw a quick paint job on it and get rid of it was the initial thought, just to kind of flip it. And then I decided I wanted to actually have a bodied vehicle myself instead of just bagged. So instead of redoing my S10, I decided to start from scratch on that Toyota.
Yeah. Now, when you acquired it, was it totally stock?
It wasn't totally stock. It had already had a start to the body drop process.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, and it kind of helps, to get something that then you're able to go, you know what, I want to see it through. And that's what you did, and that's what I loved about it. The cool thing is, to me, the interior really ties into the outside color, the body mods. I mean, to me, look, I'm going to just say it like this. When I walked up to this truck, it was a complete truck, and you could tell it's one of those kind of higher-end feel builds to it. I mean, it's one that, to me, can play with the big dogs on any given day, and that's a testament to your commitment, in my opinion, to this badass truck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Now, you were out there repping Extreme Lows with your XL fam. How awesome is it to be parked next to them and really getting the love for your Tacoma?
It's been wonderful. I didn't honestly think I'd have a support being in an actual club.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start out going solo, and then I actually talked to a couple of members, and they felt more like cousins and brothers and sisters more than just a club.
Yeah, and that's a good feeling, I'm sure.
I love going out, showing with them, having everybody get attention, building in garages with each one of them, and it's been really fun, making a lot of memories.
What's your favorite aspect of your truck?
The bead roll panels in my bed that actual Daryl Poe had done for me, it turns out a funny story. He was the first ones that he did an entire bed with, and they were actually inverted to the inside, which was by accident. When they welded them in there, they put them in backwards, and it actually turned out to be a really cool feature.
Yeah, you talk about, flipping the script, right? And I'll tell you what, you'd
Definitely
be hard-pressed to meet better folks than DP, Daryl Poe, or Nikki Poe, the great kinfolk to you guys.
They're two of the best of them. You can't ask for better people.
Yeah, and I would even put Nikki just a tad, maybe not a tad. I'd put her a lot more ahead than Daryl, you know what I mean? Just kidding. They're
Definitely.
They're both kinfolk. Now, of course, I saw you kind of making your rounds as well. What does it feel like to be a woman in the scene, right? Representing. I know there's a big, group of women and ladies that go to these shows and really rep hard, and sometimes and oftentimes go harder in the paint, in my opinion, than some of the dudes. What's the feeling like to be a woman representing the scene?
It's a little harder than you'd imagine. It's been really great. My initial goal was to get out there and try to get all these females to get into it with their own vehicles, get out from behind the boyfriends, the husbands, the brothers, and start making their own way instead of kind of just going alongside of them and saying, okay, it's our vehicle, trying to get more and more females to come out on their own.
Yeah, I absolutely love the concept. And, we've seen, and I think Mike reminded me this other day, one of our good friends, Sabra. I know Sabra, she's been busy and we haven't got a chance to really link up with her. But I know, like, folks, even Angie Ellis and yourself, many of you go, and I want to throw this out there and do just, a quick shout out to Campfire Shenanigans. If you think about some of the ladies in the scene, like yourself, that go to this event, but also the camaraderie and the great things that like Saber's doing to try to, build even deeper inroads in the scene for the ladies. I commend her, and I know that you really, enjoy that event, my understanding.
Very. It is a different world when you go to camp. Everybody is encouraging to each female. Nobody's mean. Nobody's rude with any comments. You go out. Everybody helps cooking. Everybody helps sets up your tent. You're taken care of just like you would be at home with a tinier group of your family. And that family has grown at camp, and each year it gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and it's fantastic, and I would encourage folks, if you're a lady in the scene and maybe you want to, I've heard other ladies say it this way, if you want to kind of, get out and meet some other ladies in the scene, the Campfire Shenanigans, you can get with Sabra. You could probably reach out to Ashley, right? Reach out to yourself. You'd at least get folks in the right direction. And when they do that, they kind of have that tight-knit community, but it is all the ladies.
Right. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have at all to join camp, come to camp, give the dates, location, any questions you may have, even if you're just scared to go at first and camp in a tent for the first time. It'll blow you away what happens at camp.
Yeah, real deal. And it's Ashley Wimmer, right? Wimmer?
Yes.
And you can hit her up on Facebook or Instagram. Now, what is your Instagram again? I want to make sure all the ladies know that one to go follow you.
Ashley.wimmer.908.
Yeah, so if you type in Ashley, Ashley, Wimmer 908, you'll see it pop up. We do suggest that you go out there and follow. What would your message be to someone that was maybe on the fence, they couldn't make it? I know a couple homies that weren't able to make it to Mini Nats this year. So next year is going to be the 29th annual, right? And we love Jason Bell. We love his family and his team that put on this amazing event. But What would your elevator pitch be to them on why they should go to this just truly amazing show every year?
It's a must go on the list. It's incredible rides. Even if you by chance don't get the golden ticket that it's labeled, you can just go enjoy everybody, meet a lot of new people. Even this year we had some that I've talked to a lot, Tom Jenkins, over Facebook, and then finally got to meet him in person. It's like you're meeting an actual actor, movie star, or something like that.
Yeah, that is the cool thing, and I tell you what, it's not easy to place an award in a show like this, and, we saw different folks, like our friend Eddie Gordy, really go hard in the paint over the course of time. He won Best Mini Truck. To your point, Tom Jenkins, he pulled in Best of Show with Far From Losing. But even though you and I both know it's not about the awards, it does feel good to see people that put in so much time and dedication. There's money involved with fuel and paint and body mods and the dedication that people have to the scene. And I know, you and your other brothers and sisters in Extreme Lows, you guys go hard in the paint. And I tell you what, it's always good to see that.
It's extremely good to see that. Even if you don't get a trophy, I don't like it when somebody's sad about it or gets upset. You get to make a lot of memories. You get to see a lot of cool vehicles, and it kind of gives you the initiative to start differently on your project, to finish your build, to make it unique to you, not necessarily someone else's opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, it's a great way to kind of put the icing on the cake and just say, hey, go out there, make the friends, make the memories. If you get some hardware and you take it home, fantastic. But don't make it all about that, because if it is, you're going to quickly realize in 4 and 5 years, or maybe even less, that those awards just end up with, they're cool and that you have the memories, but they end up with dust on them. And in 10 years, you kind of go, man, what am I going to do with these? So, but it's not to take anything away from folks like Feltham Fab that paints some of those best of awards. I tell you what, it really makes you feel like, damn, dude, I want to go harder in the paint next year. I want to detail more. I want to do more to be able to kind of get that pat on the back.
Exactly. You learn to grow with each Mini Nats that Jason Bell puts on. I've been with the last 3 years so far, and each year it makes me want to step up my game largely compared to the previous year.
Oh, man, I love it. I could not have said it better. One last question. Outside of Far From Losing, because you kind of mentioned that, when you looked at the show field, is there any one vehicle that always has your eye besides yours that you maybe always go, man, I love seeing it, or one that you've kind of followed over time that you always brings a smile to your face?
There's a large, incredible amount that I love to see that gets year to year. But one that I haven't got to see in person a whole lot is actually Angie Ellis's Galaxy.
Nice.
I finally got to see it year in all detail.
Yeah, I believe a lot of folks kind of came together, or she was doing some different things on it, and it's always cool to see that. They rep, she in particular reps acrophobia hard. She's been in that club a long time. One that stuck out to me is, there's Sean Ryder, and then his lovely lady Amanda. And they're just, great kinfolk. And what I loved about seeing her Blazer, that my buddy, I think Jimmy's Running Customs, had built that one back in the day, but they got their interior done. And to me, to be able to see that, it makes me feel good to see how excited she is about her ride. And again, from a lady perspective, former OLP guest, she was going hard in the paint.
Exactly. And she even took the time. Her camp name is Polly Pocket, by the way.
Oh, nice.
She even took the time to actually talk to me personally out of the show and play with her system, her new interior, talk to me about it just personally on the side instead of just saying, hey, go look at it yourself.
Very cool. Yeah, and it's that camaraderie, and that's what a lot of the ladies get at Campfire Shenanigans as well, but it's cool to see it extending outside of that event that Sabre worked so hard to put on. Ashley, it's been a blast. Any shout-outs that you want to give or anything else you want to say, girl?
Just love to everybody, especially my XL family. That's
awesome. Well, we wish you all the best. I can't wait. I know, You've got a lot of awards, hopefully, that will continue to come your way. Just that awesome hard work and recognition that you and your friends and club mates have put in. So, again, tip of the cap. We would ask you to go out and check out Ashley Wimmer, Wimmer. Ashley, just how it sounds, Facebook, Instagram. Go follow her. Check out some of the photos and the reels. And stay on the rise, Ashley.
Definitely will.
We appreciate you, girl.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
So we just finished up with Ashley. Thank you so much for coming on. And, next we got Andy. And I tell you, Andy, walking around the show, looking at all the rides, man, I couldn't help but see your Tacoma sticking out. But first, man, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. It's been a very tiresome 3 or 4 weeks getting the truck back together to bring out to the show, but we're doing good now. I actually got a little bit of sleep this week.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And talk to us a little bit about the journey with the truck, because I can tell you, I saw your Facebook post, and it helped to kind of summarize in my mind. We're talking a 3+ year build. Yeah,
it's been about 3.5 years. I got it there towards the end of 2019, and right off the bat, ended up having to do a little bit of chassis work on it, and it's just been one thing after another, and it's been a good time though. The truck's a lot of the reason why I've become part of Extreme Lows. Daryl Poe and Nathan Wimmer, Ashley Wimmer, all of those folks have helped me out a lot with the truck over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tight-knit club, and what was ironic is when I left, I knew I wanted to link up with you and Ashley because your truck just stood out. And what's cool, though, is when I look at the dedication that it takes, right? Many of us have been involved with builds, and we know it's not an easy road, right? It's not always an easy path. When you first got the truck, what kind of condition was it in?
Well, it wasn't in the greatest of shape. Right after the original builder, which Robert McIntosh, I'm not really sure what happened, but he ended up having to leave it parked for a little while. And, of course, it takes a toll on everything, weather and just not being messed with.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tweed on the inside of it was dried out really bad. You couldn't sit in the truck without coming out a dusty mess. But it was just in really, really dire straits. It was in rough shape.
Well, we're talking, with Andy Harman, and if you look on our Instagram, you'll see that we've tagged him with TUCKOMA, Tacoma. And what's cool about, one thing I loved about the truck is the graphics, fantastic, all down the side of the truck into the bed. But I also like something that kind of brought me back to the early 2000s was a big thing that we saw a lot, and that was the painted dashes, right? And I know some people were scratching their head going, well, man, I still see those. And yeah, we do. But I could tell you, on a dash like that, it looks so good. And if you think back to the early 2000s, I remember going to so many shows and everybody had that done. But to me, it really tied in the interior nicely into the seats and everything.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun trying to make everything match. My painter Andy Hawks, he went absolutely ballistic with the outside, and I'd already had my seat done for the inside, so I kind of had to try to figure out how to tie the two together. He definitely set the bar pretty high for me.
Yeah, no doubt. And what's cool is if you look at Tacoma, TUCKOMA_XL, you'll see his last post. So, go back a couple posts if you need to, but you'll see that transformation of the truck. A solid mini truck, when you get it, right? Billet grill, some primer, all that stuff that many of us have lived through with building a mini. But, oh, by the way, when you swipe and then you see that transformation, it really hits you. What's your favorite aspect of your truck, man?
Really, I can't really pick one specific detail, because, like I say, all of my Extreme Lows family has had a hand in it, and they've all poured a lot of time and soul into it. And I mean, it's really hard for me to pick out one specific detail. Now, I will say this: there is one detail that I had Andy Hawks put on the truck for me that means a lot to me personally. There's a piece on the very back of the cowl hood that if you get a chance to take a peek at it, it's actually my grandma's signature and part of her last EKGs, and she is part of the reason why I am a part of the mini truck scene. When I was growing up, she had a 78 F100 that had two 12s underneath the seat, and it's stuck with me for life. I mean,
wow.
It's embedded.
And you're talking about your grandmother?
Absolutely.
Dude.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. I tell you what, the mini trucking roots, they go deep, don't they?
Absolutely, man. That was when I was 4, 5, maybe 6 years old. Man. And it's stuck ever since.
Yeah, shout out to Extreme Lows family. I got a chance to meet the creator late last year of I believe of the entire club. He's the head guy, and just such a nice guy, and a club that's been around a long time. It's one that maybe isn't always talked about, but to me it's one that I always look up to. A lot of good folks in it, and people like yourself that go hard for the scene, man. So tip of the cap to you guys and ladies.
We definitely appreciate it. They are definitely a family, and they've helped me and my wife through a lot of things over the past few years, and I greatly appreciate all of them.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me ask you this: when you think of mini truckers, oftentimes I ask this trick question, and I go, "Well, what's next?" Right? And as mini truckers, we always kind of go, they're never really finished. I don't always believe that, right? But do you look at, do you come home and bask in the success that you have? I know you took the Battle in Bama award, so congrats. Craig, I know, represented out there and hooked you up, and I thought that was great. Do you envision having any changes or any finishing touches, or is this the icing on the cake for you?
There's a couple little things that I'm going to change up. Maybe a couple little details with the speaker box that we just didn't have time to get around to when we were trying to rush to get it back together for Mini Nats. But as far as our appearance goes, it's probably going to stay about the same.
Yeah, got it. The one other thing I wanted to point out that I thought was cool is I love the bridge cover in the back where it says Extreme Lows. It's kind of embossed. It's elevated a little bit on that cover, but the paint work that we've seen, I know we've seen some similar stuff on classic trucks, but I'm a huge fan of the old school molding, which I had painted on my S10. But looking inside the bed, all of that work that went into it, man, I mean, it's just so much detail.
Yeah, Andy Hawks, he's a top-notch guy, top-notch painter. And to be honest with you, I gave him a basic idea of what I wanted and just told him to, go nuts with it. And he went way above my expectation with everything. He did a killer job with it.
Yeah, and that's something I want to just hit on briefly. When you think about painters, we often hear, it's kind of like if you have an issue with the restaurant or customer service, it's easy to go, hey, the service sucked, don't go there, right? But we don't always take the time to say that, maybe if we have great, exceptional service. But with painters, we kind of see sometimes the negative aspect of it in social media, right? Folks kind of bickering and things like that. But to hear the success story or someone that went harder in the paint, or someone that, just went above and beyond, it's refreshing to me, Andy.
It really is, and I'm very thankful for Andy and everything that he did with the truck, and the fact that he could, take two pictures of two different trucks and just kind of try to melt them together, and it come out like that. I couldn't be more happy with it.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you give a shout out to, is your better half, that's the Chevy girl, right?
Yes, that is the Chevy Girl 89.
And listen, I mean, give her a shout out, because you and I both know, Miggity Mike the Mayor, he knows well, we wouldn't be able to do the stuff that we do, right, without the commitment of our significant others, right, without our awesome ladies or wives. So she's been holding it down on the back end, if you've been able to really go this hard in the paint the last 3.5 years.
Dude, as much as my wife has dealt with through the past 3 years, it's a wonder she hasn't strangled the life out of me 10 times already.
Well, hey, there's still a little bit of time left. No, just kidding, man.
I mean, how long do we have to the end of this interview? That way I'll know when to duck and run.
Right. Yeah, and besides your wife, and you talked about the painter. Were there any other shout outs you want to give to some people that maybe went a little above and beyond? I know you may not be able to mention everyone, but I always love to at least give that opportunity.
Mainly anybody that's I'm gonna start out by saying this. Me and my wife have dealt through a lot of things in the past 2.5, 3 years, and it almost ended up with me having to sell the truck. And of course, my XL family. I mean, they've stood by me like nobody else, and been there for me, been there for my wife, and I just really want to give a shout out to those guys. They are the true MVPs here.
Hey, that's the great thing I love about our scene. We, as we get older, with our lives and careers and families and stuff, we don't always have the time to tip our cap to the big homies and the significant others. And that's one of the reasons why we started this podcast. So, thank you for saying that. And most importantly, thank you for supporting the scene and building such a cool truck. I loved seeing it out there at Mini Nats. Maybe someone that's on the fence about going to Mini Nats, what would you say to them, Andy, on why they should be there next year for the 29th annual?
About the best thing I can say for them is don't be on the fence about it. I mean,
yep.
There is no other East Coast show like Mini Nats. I mean, you've got top quality rides. You've got it's basically a 3-day party. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, the cruising aspect alone. I would tell anybody, Ashley had mentioned the quote golden ticket, and my feedback to everyone is even if you don't get a ticket, you could plop that chair. You can go to the show and have a damn good time, and then it's like show 2.0. You go outside, you plop your chair down, you get your phone out, or you just watch the rides, and boom, it's heaven for us mini truckers. So, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us, and man, any last words, dude?
I guess I'll give one more special shout out to Nathan and Ashley there. They're the past 3-4 weeks I've completely commandeered their garage and put this truck back together. And if it wasn't for them, that truck would not be back together already.
That's awesome, man.
But,
yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, that's about it, man.
Yeah, so go out there and follow. If you look at our feed on Instagram, we'll see that we tagged. It's a Tacoma, TUCKOMA_XL. Follow Andy Harman. Check him out. Amazing Tacoma. We can't wait to link up and slap hands at the next one with the Andy. And thank you for taking the time, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Stay on the rise. As we get ready to roll into the audio with Tom and Joey, I want to remind everyone that we huge tip of the cap to our title sponsors, which includes Scraping the Coast. Scraping the Coast is going down this June. It's the 20th anniversary of this famed show in Biloxi. The cool thing about it is June 24th, 25th, and 26th. You can go to Scrapin', that's SCRAPIN, the Coast, scrapingthecoast.com for more information. Also, they just released their new artwork for their shirt that includes slammed 99's amazing dually. So tip of the cap to Scraping the Coast for the continued success that they have, and we're looking forward to being up there in about 2 months, the last weekend in June. And again, if you have more information or if you need more information, hit up Lauren Miller on Facebook or Scrapin', SCRAPIN, the Coast. Now let's check in with Joey and Tom, aka Tom and Joey, already in progress on their way home. Yo, so as I mentioned, we're going to dive in here with the Tom and Joey show. Man, Tom, dude, it was great seeing you. We recently had you on, but, man, I could see the smile on your face. You were having a good time, right, Tom?
Oh, having a great time. That was a big thing this weekend, taking it to Mini Nats. That's the king of all mini truck shows. We all dream of going there, and especially on the West Coast, it's almost out of reach, but we made it within reach, and we made it out there, and we had a fantastic time.
Dude, tip of the cap. And then Joey, I know you had a smile from ear to ear rolling around in Relaxed Taco. What'd you think of the weekend overall?
The weekend, the second we unloaded my truck, dude, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. I want to cruise this. I went to Jason Bell. Have you judged a truck? So I want to go drive mine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that epic.
I just wanted to drive.
Yeah.
How many shows do you get to go to where you get to pull your truck in and out of the show, cruising it around?
Yeah, that's one of those underrated aspects of it because, as you gentlemen know, typically parking like maybe in an indoor setting or maybe a VIP section, it's oftentimes that you're not supposed to move your ride, and this is one of those unique shows where you can cruise. When you think about not everybody, as Tom, as you mentioned, gets to bring their rides from the West Coast, but you have this unique opportunity to maybe get out with a couple trucks and come across the country. What was the feeling like, when you were there and seeing the smiles on everyone's faces, seeing Far From Losing, many of them for the very first time?
You know what? Those the people were amazing. The people, I think I got thanked more times than ever just because I brought the trucks there. More people walking up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, the people on the East Coast they've just been nothing but kind, and they make every show so much better and so much friendlier, and it just makes you feel like you belong, and Far From Losing, bringing that all the way over there, and that was the biggest thing to hit on the East Coast is because it's never really been over there, and if it has, it was like 20 years ago or something, right?
Yeah,
18, 20 years ago, and so it lightly touched the East Coast, I believe, from what my research is, but now we're really showing it. We're putting it on full display. We're really wanting to let everybody have the opportunity to see the truck and look at the truck and see the detail in the truck and just see what this truck was back in 04, which so many people have claimed that it was way ahead of its own time. It was definitely one of them above and beyond trucks back in 04, and it's definitely proven that in today's scene because it's doing very well and it's liked by very, very many people, and it's getting a little hardware to take home every time it goes out. So the people, and they're making it worth the trip. 44,000 miles there and back. We're about out right now. We still got a couple hundred to go, and but it's worth every mile to see the smiles and the comments that everyone gives when they see that truck.
Yeah, smiles per hour. And what's cool is, I often have said this, that, it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. If you think of the cab graphics underneath it, the rear engine, all the detail, polish this, chrome that. But then, a lot of folks, we talk about Time Machine, and, we were able to launch some new merch, which I'll talk about a little bit later, which was pretty cool. But I tell you what, I put it up there. I'm never one that maybe say the all-time great on any one thing, because sometimes there's a couple of GOATs, right? We all know that, but I'm telling you, it's on that pedestal, and it really got the recognition it deserved. Congratulations on the best of show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and we had a dream of coming to this show, and one of my biggest dreams was, what I believe we'll talk about next was taking it out to the streets,
Yeah.
the cruising of Mini Nats,
Yeah, I want to talk to Joey real quick, and then I want to talk about that. But Joey, when you think about, having this, color shop, laced up graphics, Toyota Tacoma, you've had this opportunity. We saw it at Scraping the Coast, and we've seen it at other events. But just even before that you cruised it, to have it on display, I saw so many people coming by and just going, man, I remember this truck. I remember it. And to have a piece of Mini Truckin history, I know you were on cloud nine.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said before, I didn't realize what I had until after I got it. And, during the setup of getting the trucks cleaned up the next day, people just coming up to me and just thanking me for getting the truck out to the East Coast so they can see it in person instead of, gazing upon the pages of magazine or looking on the internet and saying, man, I can't wait to see it, or I wish I could have seen it, the new friendships that I've been making, bringing it across the country with Tom. I mean, you know, one thing that I just really want to say really quick, you know, if it wasn't for Tom and, you know, him doing this for me, the truck would still be left on the West Coast unseen by the East Coast. So Tom's a huge part of the reason why this truck gets to be seen across the country and whatnot. So
yeah, tip of the cap, Tom. Thank you.
It's a huge honor to be a part of Tom's quest of getting across the country and taking far from losing, and you know, just being a part of the team. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I do.
It's amazing.
And let me ask you this. You know, I'm going to throw it back to Tom here. What was cool is you know, Joey was like, hey, man, you know, I know you want to ride in the truck. You know, come on, man. You're going to be my first passenger on Saturday. And we got a chance to hang out. But then he goes, yo, Tom's taking it off the jack stands. He's taken far from losing, as you mentioned a minute ago. And he's going to hit the mean streets of Maggie Valley. And, dude, it was such a cool thing when you started the truck and you kind of let it warm up. And we're sitting there, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm getting these butterflies. I'm going, man, I know this is going to go well, but I'm so excited to see this piece of history that so many people haven't seen, you know, move on its own power, just because it's a full-blown show truck. But, Tom, you got it out there, and you just let loose and had a good time and kind of, you know, got some of the spider webs out of that exhaust, didn't you, man?
Oh, we did. Yeah, you're sitting having butterflies. I'm about to throw up.
Yeah.
So, you know, now, you know, I have driven this thing up and down the road a couple times. You know, we drove it on LST when everyone left. You know, this truck's always been a driver. But, you know, the biggest question I've had from everybody, well, does it even drive? Is it even drivable? Is it even street legal? You know, one guy says, do you even have a title to it? I heard you only have a title to it, you know. So we get that. We get all those talks. And you know, I think it was time. It was time for it to really come out and take a cruise and let people see, and you know, that yes, it is a legit truck, you know. So
yeah, and what I loved is you guys kind of had it planned out. You know, let's be honest. You know, Joey was the brains. He was trying to be the brains of the operation, going, all right, we're gonna flank this and flank that. But when we kind of got out there, everything came together. We went all the way down the one way. We turned around, went all the way back. When we got down to the far kind of left end from the show, when you came back, you had Schulman, you had Fester, and you had some guys that were perfectly positioned, and you did something that was like epic. Like it was kind of like Jordan doing when they would say you got posterized when Jordan would dunk on you. Yeah. So I was sitting in the passenger seat of Relaxed Taco, thanks to Joey, and we're cruising, and he looks at me and he goes, he's going to three-wheel it. And I was like, what does he think? He's Ice Cube, took another sip of the potion at the three-wheel motion, and sure enough, you sucked that wheel up in there, dude. Like, you know, that was pretty fucking epic, dude.
The way that truck's designed, it could do a standing three-wheel, which I know a lot of people see me post pictures of it and stuff, but, you know, I knew, I mean, that was my thing. I love doing it. I love the three-wheel. I love that. And, yeah, I seen Fester. I seen Schulman, you know, a lot of their crew sitting over there on the side of the road. So, you know, I might have shown off a little bit, you know. And I'm like, you know, watch this. We're going to, you know, I got Jeremy in the passenger seat. You know, Jeremy, he rolls with me all the time. So he there's nobody else better to ride the first ride with me than Jeremy inside with me, you know. And I said, you know what? I said, we're going to pop this right now. We're going to get it right by these guys. They're all waiting, and they support me very much. Fester and Schulman and that whole group, they've always given me a lot. Riza, you know, they're fantastic people. So, you know, I want to give them a little something special, and yeah, maybe show off. And yeah, absolutely, we tucked that passenger wheel up in, and kept moving. And so we did a full rolling three-wheel, which, you know, to have air is a little different to do. So with the way that truck's designed and the engine and air cans, two-way air cans and stuff, so, you know, I'm able to do that. So a pretty neat thing about that truck. One of my favorites.
I really think you need to get with our big homie Joey Dilworth from Get Decked. And as I've always said, I want to give a huge shout-out to him. He could take one photo, that priceless moment, and he can put it on a skate deck. So, you know, huge shout-out. If anybody's got a photo, they can do it. Get with Joey at Get Decked. But, dude, the vibe there, I counted earlier in my head, a couple handfuls of cover trucks. Both of you guys had one there, some of the coolest trucks of all time. I tell you this, I had a smile from ear to ear, whether I was in the show field, walking around, or I was out on the strip, and just seeing the trucks, whether they were high-end builds or someone doing crazy bed dancing. Joey, I know when you were out there, even if you weren't cruising, you were looking at all the rides and you were saying, dude, this is mini trucking heaven, ain't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's mini trucks from as far as the eye could see. It was awesome. It kind of reminded me of back in the old days, in the old truck runs, Spring Splash, Endless Summer, West Coast Nationals, when all the mini trucks were there. It kind of made me feel like an old school mini truck run. Get to see all these mini trucks, and it was amazing. And then, there was a few from back in the day. The same timeline from Relaxed Taco and Far From Losing.
Yeah, there were, and when you think back to Old Crispy, the little shop built S10 that Thad owns now, and you think about that, and then you think of Project Indy, Kerry Bewley's amazing full size, from the late '90s. I mean, you just have trucks that have, in our truck scene, it's been a lifetime, right, of success and show coverage, but most importantly, whether it's the current owner or a new owner, like we said on stage, the great thing is that these trucks are seen. There's some people that don't always bring their trucks out, and there's other folks like you that say, hey, I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to put it on jack stands. I'm going to work my ass off all week and polish or do this or do that just to be able to let the people get what they want. And I tell you, you guys are two of the reasons why I think the show is so successful, and Jason Bell always gives it up to the enthusiasts, because when they come out, you guys are bringing the heat for everyone to see, man. So, Tom, what would you say to anybody that's like on the fence about going for next year, the 29th annual?
Well, I'll tell you what. First things first is Jason Bell and his crew. What a phenomenal job they did. I mean, hats off to those guys. I mean, they did what a great show, and I was just running in circles just to find out which way to go to have fun, while they're running in circles trying to keep it to where we can all have fun. And they did a phenomenal job. So hats off to those guys, and thank you to them for doing what they do every year to make this show what it is. So, Mini Nats. If you have to go. If you're not on. I don't care if you're West Coast, East Coast. Doesn't matter. If you have an opportunity, or you can work hard, save your money, if that's what it is keeping you from going, save your money, call a friend with a trailer, whatever it is, figure out how to go. You need to go. It's something I've never been to. Me and Joey's never been to. Jeremy's been to a couple times back in the day. He kind of let us in how to do some things, so that was nice. But we've never been there. So when we walked in, we were in awe. Just, wow, look at all this. Look at this and look at that. And look at the cars cruising back and forth. And West Coast, we don't cruise. West Coast, we park our trucks. We walk away. We walk around. We meet and say hi to people. You're cruising. You're moving the whole time. There's cars in and out. And it's the most liveliest car show that you might see, because so much stuff's going on. And not with just any cars. I mean, you're talking about the top of the top mini trucks, the mini truck inspired cars and SUVs and full size. I mean, you're dealing with so many vehicles there that are wrapped around the scene that we all love so much, that you get to see everything, and you do everything, and you hop in with one guy and he cruises up and down. You grab your truck. I got Fester came out from Arizona, flew up there with us. We got to ride in crew cut all weekend. How cool was that, right? Yep. And Shulman for letting us do that, of course. But he let people hop in crew cut. People that love that truck, and I mean, there's so much experience. I would imagine every year you get so much experience, so much opportunity to do so much with the mini truck scene and the lifestyle that we do live. You got to go. Don't miss out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, to see some of the photos, I know people were sitting at home going, wow, like to see Shulman 3 wide, he's letting the big homies, people he trusts, he's got, of course, a Navigator, he's got Crew Cut, and then he's got the Sequoia, and Acro, tip of the cap to them. They go hard every year. Some other clubs did as well. But, Joey, first time attending for yourself. I know, you've been in the shows, for, going back to the old days, and now you're kind of basking in this awesome truck. What would your words be for someone that was like, hey, man, I was almost able to make it this year, but, a lot of times people say, well, I'll be there next year. And then sometimes, they still can't make it. What's your elevator pitch to someone that needs to get out there, damn it, next year, brother?
Well, I got a few text messages saying, man, it looks like you're having so much fun. I wish I could have made it. And I just replied, I said, you know what? Even if you don't bring your own ride, fly to the show.
Yes.
Get to the show. You don't have to have a vehicle there because there's so much going on. Like, you're watching people cruise. I mean, as Tom said, Dave Schulman was letting people get rides in Crew Cut. If you wanted to go down the strip, you hop in Crew Cut. You have to get to this show. This is... I'm still, floating on cloud 9 from the show. I still have my wristband on because I haven't left the show yet.
Yeah, and hear me out on this. I tell you, when we had breakfast at Pop's place, we're right. I mean, literally, we could throw a tennis ball and hit the place. That's how close it is to our motel. That Pop's, the guy that's owned it for a long time, goes, I wish I could have you guys every weekend. And it's a testament that I tell you, we joked around on stage a little bit about. I think it was. It might have been LMC that was saying, are we the new hot rodders and things like that. But if you think about, dude, we were able to float in town, all these mini truckers, right? You bring a lot to the local economy, and there weren't, barring, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear any major issues. I didn't hear people doing stupid burnouts. People abided by the rules. They cruised. When I was with you, Joey, you're getting a thumbs up from the freaking police, right? Shulman and those guys said that, and Tom said it too, that, the police guys were out, the fire guys. That's what's cool. We're all at an age where we can go out there and we can have fun. Nobody's doing stupid stuff. Now, I know Jeremy is the real life Hank, and I know, you guys had to talk him, he was talking about doing a Hell in the Cell in the middle of the road, and we said, well, hold on, man. But in all seriousness, everybody was able to go out there without any major issue, as far as I know, and I tell you what, that means a lot to me.
Yeah, everyone kept it pretty calm. We had a little burnout here, a little drag in there, but I think cops just gave warnings to people just to let them know they were there. But no, everyone, it was good. There's no hatred for each other. We all loved each other. We all hung out with each other. Didn't matter what group it is. You could walk up and down the road without a car and talk to anybody. The people in unicorns outfits running up and down the road. It was wild. It was fun. Everyone's just having a great time. It's a huge party taking over a nice town, and it's just a bunch of great people hanging out. And yeah, absolutely.
Respecting it. Yep. Well, if I had to remix the famous Outkast song Players Ball, I might say something like, all the mini truckers came from far and wide, wearing some black shirts and low hats, kicking them gangster rides. Now, I'm here to tell you, there's a better day when the mini truck ball is happening all day, day. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait for next year.
You got it. You got it.
And even if you guys can't, listen, you guys have been spending a lot of money and time and resources, flying, not flying, but driving around the country. Man, I would say to both of you, if you guys decide next year, hey, you're not going to bring any rides, still fly out, because we had a damn hell of a time, didn't we?
Oh, we did. Fester flew out. We had a couple people that we knew flew out. Some more Arizona people flew out. Cheryl and Colin, they came out of Havasu, and they said they don't miss it. They come every year. They've never had a vehicle there, but they still come out every year. So fly out there if you have to. Hop in your little Honda, your Prius, if you got to save some money. Whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do, just get over there. It doesn't matter what you do. If you can't bring your mini truck or your custom truck, just get over there. Just go have some fun, relax with us, and we'll be there next year. So come say hi.
Well, Jeremy's not with you guys, right? Because he's still.
Oh, he is. He's in the back seat.
Right here.
Yeah, real life Hank hanging out.
Now, Jeremy,
he's been wild, but he's all right.
I heard you and Hank talking about doing transfer pumps and like siphoning fuel at truck stops and stuff. I mean, that's kind of like that's the last resort, though, right, Jeremy?
He's always wanted to stop at liquor stores and all that stuff.
Right.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, like Hank's the guy that'll say, "Listen, if you're coasted on fumes and you really got to throw a bottle of Jack Daniels down the tank. I mean, it'll get you there, right?"
Yeah, it'll refresh you.
Jeremy, real quick, man, before we wrap it up, dude.
Yes,
Listen, I want to hear from you, man. You had a great time, didn't you?
Oh, I had a great time. It's like bringing back old times, you know.
Well, when you think about you've been a little bit on the west, you've been a little bit up in the east, kind of the Indiana, Illinois kind of deal, right?
Yes.
When you think about all the memories going to shows and stuff, what do you think is one of the most important aspects of our truck scene?
I think the camaraderie. I think everybody come together and actually not fighting or saying, did you buy that or build it or whatever. You know, I just think everybody hanging out and having a good time. This last weekend was a good prime example of what it should be and how it should be, you know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And if you think about, like I've always said, there's going to be sometimes a truck's left in a garage for 20 years, and rightfully so. Maybe the owner brings it back, but oftentimes, people move on in life, and maybe someone else can enjoy it and also bring it out for others to enjoy. And that's what, both of these guys have done. And I know that I saw a smile on your face from ear to ear rolling in Far From Losing. And I also saw you in the video, like when the Brat, with that song I put in there, I saw you throwing the hands up. I thought you were doing the West Side, so I thought you and Hank were going to, start tussling.
I was throwing them up, I was.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I had a blast cruising that thing, man. That was probably the highlight of my time, or my life,
Yep.
So.
Well, that's what it's about. Tom, before I ask Joey, Tom, any last words for all the listeners?
Oh no, we appreciate everything. We do put a lot of this, and we do try to get all over the world or the U.S. and I say the world because to us that is the world.
Yeah.
My truck doesn't float, so we got to stay on this side.
Right.
But no, you know what? We enjoy this. We enjoy the people and the people that support us, and we've got so much support, coming from 4,000 miles away or 2,000 miles away. I'm sorry, and so much people have supported us, and we appreciate you guys. Everyone that comes out and says hi to us, everyone that makes sure to shake our hand. You guys are. Everybody, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all that. It makes it all worth it to have that.
Yeah, and I heard the rumor on the street is you're getting with my boy Mayor Goldie Wilson III from Back to the Future 2 with a hover conversion for $39,999.99, and you're gonna go.
We're gonna do something.
You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be floating.
We're gonna do something. That's. Yeah.
Flip the script.
We're gonna make it happen, but we'll get to them all. We'll get to them all. Everybody will. So.
Yes, sir. Joey, last words, brother. Anything you got for the Airhead Nation, all the listeners?
Everybody that listens, everybody that I've met and slapped hands with. Thank you, for the love and the kind words that you give us. It's a great ride, and it's going to be we're just going to keep on keeping on, I guess.
Yep, keep on keeping on. So, dude, you guys have a safe trip, that last kind of leg, if you will. Be safe, and we're going to catch you at the next one. Stay on the rise, my brothers, and thank you so much for representing the scene, dude. Tip of the cap.
Hey, thank you, man.
And don't let Jeremy come back to the East Coast. That guy's too crazy. Just kidding.
Wow.
See y'all, man.
Nothing yet.
Peace out,
See you
y'all.
guys.
Yeah.
Yo, so we just finished with Tom and Joey, and I want to roll into some audio here with the big homie Deener from Low Bros, my brother. How you doing?
Yeah, yo. Hey, I am well, man. Just coming back to normal reality after enjoying a nice 9-day trip to Maggie Valley. So just getting reacquainted with the real life.
I know last year when Fatty B went there, and I saw some of your comments, and you go, yo, I'm going to be there next year. And we'll see that, and I know sometimes even, sometimes I'll be like, yo, I want to go to this event next year, whatever. But truly, when you saw that in 2021, you made it happen this year, and I know that you're glad that you went to Mini Nats.
Yeah, man. Like you said, Fatty B always talks about it. I think he's done it about 3 or 4 times now. And yeah, he was like, hey man, listen, if you want to go, let's lock it in. And so we did that. We booked a cabin literally the week that he came back from last year's. So we, solidified it. So once the funds were spent, it was 100% done deal. And I tell you what, man, I am not regretting any bit of that trip. It was an amazing experience, to say the least.
Yeah, and you and Fatty B both brought your better halves, so to speak, right, to get tip of the cap to the ladies. And I know it's one of those destination shows where the ladies can go and they can also enjoy, maybe they don't always want to sit in a chair, sit by a trucks. They want to float around, go to a cabin, do some sightseeing. My understanding from the photos I saw, you guys did a lot of different stuff all week.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We definitely did the touristy thing. So, yeah, like you said, the missus was down to go, both of our misses. Of course, Fatty's wife goes every year, but this year mine tagged along for sure. And we were fortunate enough that they have a little bit of an idea of, like, where to go and some spots to see. So we did some mandatory Tennessee spots for sure. We didn't get to Pigeon Forge, which is fine. We could say that for another year, but we went to Gatlinburg. We did that whole touristy thing up and down the strip, had a phenomenal day out there. We did some Cherokee stuff as well. Found probably one of the most amazing skate parks ducked off in the cut in the Cherokee Indian Reservation, which was mind-boggling. I have to bring the bike next time. But yeah, absolutely, man. We did some local North Carolina, Maggie Valley, Asheville stuff. And definitely tried to make the best of it. Like you said, we went out there for a little bit of a vacation before the show. And like you said, we did some shopping to keep the wives happy. And then of course we closed it out with, an amazing weekend there at the show. Yeah,
real deal. And the rumor was going around that Hammer and Hank was doing those, I don't even know what they're called, peyote things from the Indian reservations. And yeah, the only reason I know that is I think there was a funny episode of Sons of Anarchy. But I know Hank eats those for lunch. You know what I mean?
What a legend. That peyote stuff is real. I bet Hank was stuck for a while. He had to be stuck in time for a little while after that experience.
Yeah, and I don't condone eating plants and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I don't even know. It was some weird, cactus looking shit or something. But
something, yeah. It's all hearsay. I don't condone it either, but enter at your own risk on the reservation.
The other cool thing that you epitomize, the mini truck life, but you also believe in bringing your truck. You've worked hard to get it to where it's at, and then you love cruising your truck. What was the feeling like, whether the strip was bare naked, there was no one out there, right, in the middle of the week, or, you fast forward to that weekend? What was it like cruising Pinky Promise through the mean streets of Maggie Valley?
Yeah, man, I got to tell you, it was a surreal experience. I'm sure your listeners have heard the previous episodes. After owning the truck for 2 decades, and then more recently, the last 2 years of just grinding and getting the new color change and getting the interior sorted, we touched down that Saturday, and I had to put wheels down on the ground and let everybody know that, Deener and the Low Bros are here. And so it was surreal that first Saturday. It was beautiful, cruising the strip by myself, nobody was there yet. It was an amazing feeling, but even more so into the show weekend, getting in the truck, and it kind of just all clicked, man. When I saw all the trucks out there, all the different vehicles, all the people on the sides cheering, taking video, the town getting involved, the children waving at you. And it really hit for me when I got in and I had my music on. For me, my go-to is I listen to War. I like that old lowrider classic driving music. And my freshly done interior, finally, I've never seen the truck with a full interior, and that's when it hit me, and it was beautiful, man. We just set that thing on hover mode. Of course, I don't have any kind of Acura or anything, so I'm still manual switch guy over here, but we got as low as we could. And man, it was insane. It was a beautiful feeling. I had Fatty B out there cruising with me too, in the front of the back side, right to left. And it was just beautiful to put tires down and really just let everybody know that the Low Bros are here. And we want a piece of the action too. So it was a surreal moment, man. The long short of it is, after all these years of watching the show, back when it was in Pigeon Forge and seeing it in the magazine and watching it on YouTube the last couple of years, to finally be able to bring Pinky Promise in its entirety and completed for now, just out there representing myself, my mother, and all the people, of course, that helped me get there. So it was just a beautiful experience, man. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say about 15 times that I feel like I'm a 15-year-old kid again. I just got all those young feelings again with the music and just seeing all the trucks dragging. It was a beautiful experience, man.
Well stated. And keep me honest, you did bring some hardware, and it was pretty cool. Talk to us about the pick that you got.
Man, yeah, I got to tell you, first and foremost, I was very blessed to have as much attention at the truck as I did. I got a lot of people taking pictures of it. But the coolest thing for me, Jason, was honestly the little girls, man. There was so many cute little girls. They were probably like 4 and 5. One or two of them even brought their little car to take a picture next to my truck. I got to tell you, man, that was, I did receive an award, but if I was not to receive that award, that was the biggest, icing on the cake for me, was just bringing joy to these little girls and seeing them do their little poses in front of the truck. But with that being said, yes, man, I was very blessed. And I don't see how. I'm still shocked when I get awards, but I was very blessed to receive the Chicks Pick Award, and highly honored to take that home because, the truck is obviously a memorial of my mom. My mom was a single mother and very much into women's intuition and women's lib. So very proud to represent that category. And I was honored. There was a lot of beautiful trucks. There were more than one just pink truck there. So, above and beyond, I'm very honored to have been selected out of the amazing sea of vehicles out there.
Looking fresh, and I know sometimes it has the dice in the mirrors. You know what I'm saying? I like it.
You know it, man. I finally completed the lyric. We rode around for 6 months with the fresh tag. We got the interior in. The dice is hanging. So now the full Fresh Prince lyric can be completed. So like you said, man, the license plate said fresh, and those dice are most definitely in that mirror. So
yeah, I put to one of the videos that I did, Summertime. That's one of my favorite. I know you love it as well, and I love when he's like, he's got to get to the court. He's got to throw on some new sneaks first. You know what I'm saying, and get crazy out there. And that brings, just listening to that song with the hot summer and a cold drink really transports me back into time. To that era of me playing that over and over on my tape cassette. And I
gotta be honest with you, Jason. They played it at the show, man. Yes. I don't know if you heard it, but DJ Mays played that song, man. And I just stood up and I looked at the truck and I smiled. That's my all-time favorite song. The sun was out, and just like the lyric says, we spent all day wiping our cars down, and we were out there and we were doing it BIG, man. And I loved it. I had all the vibes, bro, all the 90s vibes. The only thing I was missing was my removable tape deck. You know what I mean? Yes,
the cassette. The other thing we need to get you somehow is the Go Speed Racer shirt that he wears in the video. You know what I'm saying? Remember when that video,
I'd wear it.
that cartoon somehow started getting played on MTV back in the day, but it's good stuff. Now, I also want to wish, and I know the Airhead Nation, all the listeners want to wish you a happy belated born day, because I believe it was 4/14 was your born day.
Absolutely, my brother. I am at level 3.6. Very blessed to have made it to this level. I got to tell you, man, a lot of people were telling me when I was looking at 30, they're like, oh, man, you're in your 30s. But I got to tell you, and I can't speak for everybody, but I could speak for myself, that level 3 has been the most enjoyable part of my life. Getting older is not bad. I've had a lot of blessings. I've worked hard and I've achieved a lot of things, and I've allowed myself and my wife to obtain things that were just not applicable back in the day. And yeah, man, we got another spin around the sun, and I'm blessed to be here for 36, and I hope to make the best of it, dude, so I can get to the next one.
Yeah, I love it. I didn't get a chance earlier, and you just kind of reminded me. I want to give a huge shout out. You start talking about good people. Pat Jobin, as well as Dale. Dale brought his S10 down from Canada, and I didn't even dawn on me that he had his truck there back in the cut, the blue S10. But Pat Jobin, what's so cool is in this part of the scene of ours, you have kinfolk like that come in from another country. I know there was, I think, an NC dude as well. I forget his name, that came from Canada. But if you think about Maggie Valley, I mean, we had people there that drove from Oregon. You had, I think, Callie in the house, Shannon from the East Coast, from Freaks, Canada, us from Florida. You pretty much had all corners of this country as well as Canada on lock, and that's got to be pretty cool, for you to participate with your truck.
Dude, I got to tell you, man, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I could tell that, because I'm familiar with a lot of these trucks, especially some that I watched get built on S10 Forum. Specifically, that kind of dates me too. Lets you know that level 3.6 is real. Right. But specifically, Old Crispy, man. I know that fellow Thad Cunningham has done a great job of preserving Chick's Ride and Old Crispy there from Little Shop. But it was the first time for me seeing that vehicle in person, and it is absolutely amazing. First time I ever got to see the Smoothster out there. That was amazing.
Yes.
That build was something that was, I bought the DVD specifically for that truck when it first came out. There's other vehicles. There was an orange NC member, and please forgive me, I don't know this fellow's name. I know he's got a Maryland tag on his truck, but it's an orange GM.
Eric Folber. Yep.
Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, that truck was a Canadian truck originally, but nonetheless, I've watched that truck get built way back in the day. And again, another truck on a DVD and magazine that I used to gawk over. I actually fangirled out a little bit, Jason, I'll be honest with you. I had to on Sunday. There was nobody around the orange Sonoma, so I parked Pinky Promise right next to it, and I took a couple photos of it because I was working on my truck back when that truck was getting built. And it's crazy to see how beautiful that truck still stands today. And it's crazy to see the progression that my truck finally made after all these years. So to bring it all back in, man, it was amazing to see, like Whitewall Steve, another truck that's from S10 form. So many heavy hitters out there. And on top of that, getting to slap hands with some of the owners. Again, I didn't get to meet the fellow that owns the orange Sonoma, but speaking to some of those dudes that have those trucks now that I remember being built back in the day was just a treat. And oddly enough, some of them had recognized mine from Instagram or Facebook, whatever club group it might have been on Facebook. And it was just an honor to, for someone to say, hey man, we can really appreciate the work, because mine, honestly, I don't feel stands in the same ground as some of those vehicles, but happy to have mine in the same field this past weekend and show out. And it was an honor to do that.
Yeah. Eric Folber, big supporter, great person. Got a chance to hang out with him a little bit over the weekend. He's out there slinging the boxes. So tip of the cap to the big homie, but I asked some of the other guests that we've had on, if you had a quick elevator pitch, if somebody was like, yo, you know how many truckers we can all be, right? I include myself in this, we see an event and we're like, oh yeah, I'm going to make it out there next year. I wasn't able to make it this year. Like seriously, let's say somebody hasn't been to Mini Nats, right? And they're on the fence or whatever. Maybe, the finances weren't right this year. What would you tell them about making it out next year for the 29th annual in Maggie Valley?
Dude, honestly, just off the quick top of the dome, my elevator pitch would be this. It's that simple. Do you like mini trucks? If the answer is yes, this show is for you. Do you like beautiful scenery? If the answer is yes, this show is for you. And the last question I would ask you, when is the last time you have ever been to a show that you can drag your truck on the ground, play your stereo as loud as humanly possible, and all the while a police officer standing on the sidewalk gives you a thumbs up as you destroy your frame and the pavement going by? Yeah. If you can tell me where that can happen, then don't worry about going. But I'm pretty sure you can tell me. So Mini Nats, number 29 is where you need to be.
Dude, bro, Mini Truckin Heaven, Mini Trucker Heaven. What was cool is Tom even mentioned it with Far From Losing, and Joey mentioned it too. You can cruise your truck after the show, right? Go back and park it till some odd 8, 9 o'clock at night. Get back out there, jump in a ride with someone else. I mean, Brooke with the Ranger, I got a chance to ride in her truck. She goes, hey, I'm free if you're ready to roll. So I went out there and gallivanted some. But for me, even if you're just sitting there with a chair and maybe you don't have a truck or maybe your truck dream's a couple years away, you could still go there. And I tell you, this is one of the most underrated aspects of the show. It's only $10, dude, for a pass for the whole weekend. Where can you get that much? I mean, dude, Blockbuster back in the day, you couldn't even get for barely $10 that much entertainment.
I got to be honest with you, man. We had that conversation, my wife and I, on the way home, and it's like $10 to spectate, is unbelievable.
For
the whole weekend.
Yeah.
For the whole weekend. And like you said, too, like there's something for everyone. If you don't have a truck that's, if for some reason you can't get the truck there or your vehicle is not ready, it's like you said, it's come spectate for $10, and then the strip, you make some friends, slap some hands. Somebody's going to let you in your vehicle. I'll be fully honest with you. I've met Ed Testerman in passing, and I had an opportunity to really get to know him, and I threw my hand in the window and I was like, hey, I'm Fatty B's brother. Would love to get a ride. And we hopped in the back and we cruised in that beautiful full size of his and really got to know each other that way. And yeah, man, I mean, you can make friends by just putting your head in someone's vehicle. It's an absolute treat, man. And this was just my first year. Some of the guys, like my brother, have years of experience doing this stuff. And I got to tell you, man, everything that, you just said that you can do, I accomplished. and it's a real deal. I mean, at minimum, if you don't have a vehicle to bring, you really can't miss this one for $10. It's just it's absolutely it's insane, man. It really is.
Well, I mentioned Blockbuster earlier on the way home. Mike drove the whole way. I told him about my new business that I'm starting called Smut Busters. So I hope that you'll come to my new VHS. I mean, VHS are on the rise, right? I mean, I got this idea.
Yeah.
And Mike was like, it's the best idea.
I'll definitely get my card for Smut Busters as long as the spot outside next to that red truck with the topper if there's a spot next to that red truck with the topper, I'm sure he'll be at Smut Busters too.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a 2-for-1 deal there.
Yeah, he's Matt's already trying. Well, I don't want to say his name. He's already trying to get like a full-time membership, And I'm going, well, let's just try to get off the ground first with the door swings. We got to get a couple customers in first. But
could get that employee of the month. He could get that employee parking and get and we could all work it out from there. You never know. Things can happen.
Yeah, if you've ever watched Clerks back in the day, he was just trying to get on the phone with the distributor and order some movies. You know what I mean? And he didn't mean to offend anyone. So one of the all-time great movies. But Deener, repping Low Bros. Listen, last thing, okay?
Sure.
I wanted to link up with Fatty B, also known as Marcus. That's a long story. I wanted to link up with Fatty B. He's a great supporter. I got to get with him maybe the next week or so. But Martial Law, I know he was on Cloud 9.
Dude, absolutely. Martial Law, dude. It came out outstanding. Billy the Kid, he painted it. I know Brian had a hand in taping off some of those graphics. I just know that he was excited to be out there. It came down to the wire. I mean, like most Mini Nats crunch, if you will. They usually come down to the wire. So his came down to the wire, and we got it out there. He was able to make his debut, and some really cool stuff happened with the truck while he was out there. But more importantly, it was out there. It was in the show field. It got a lot of attention. And, yeah, man, I know he was happy as a pig in some mud, just rolling around on the strip, had his lights going, had his music going. The wheels were shining, and he was doing his thing out there, dude. So I know for 100% that he was absolutely on Cloud 9 and very proud to have that vehicle out there.
Yeah, great job, Fatty B. And, it just shows that guy does not stop. He is constantly, and, it's guys like him and Eddie Gordy and others in the scene that are just constantly going, that sometimes if I sit down and take a quick breath and I look and I go, damn, I need to get my ass in gear. These guys are out there hustling, you as well, Deener. So it's cool to see the success, the smiles, and, of course, all the good stuff that comes along with it. Thank you for jumping on our episode, Mini Trucker Extravaganza, where we got a chance to talk to a bunch of folks that went to Mini Nats. I'm going to kind of wrap up the show with a few things. And before I do that and let you go, I did want to remind people that the next Florida show is Made of Steel. I know you guys have been out to it before, but please, please, everyone, if you can, come on out to Made of Steel. And the great thing about it is it's the weekend of the 21st and 22nd. I know there's other shows going on throughout the country, but if you're in Florida, let's all try to rally around and get out to Made of Steel show.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be out there, man. I know Martial Law will be out there. So for those who are interested in seeing that Colorado in person, I already know that Fatty B is locked in. He'll be out there and ready to show out. And yeah, man, Low Bros, we pack a big punch in a small group of people. So keep an eye on us because we're always on the rise.
Yeah, brother. And I want to correct myself. It's May 20th and 21st. I get confused. They're a Friday, Saturday deal. But you said it best. Always on the rise. Be safe this week, dog. Avoid that O-Town traffic, and we'll link up soon.
Absolutely, my brother. I appreciate you as always. I'm blessed to be on here again, and I can't wait to see you again, brother. Take care of yourself, man.
Thanks, Deener. Yo, let's wind this one down. Man, it was so refreshing. About an hour and 45 in, but just going back and kind of puzzling and plastering everything together for this episode, it's refreshing just to have it kind of mixed up a little bit. Shorter segment in the beginning, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And it was awesome talking to some kinfolk that, we've had on before with Deener, Joey, and Tom, but also link it up with Ashley and Andy as well, getting a perspective from their side. And we're going to continue to do this and kind of just mix things up and keep things fresh. Let's face it, we've been doing this now 6-7 years, and we certainly appreciate all the support out there. Now, I want to give a huge shout-out to Graphics Mafia. I always say this, if you need stickers, maybe you need a decal for your club, a wrap, maybe some light design work, hit up Graphics Mafia, GRAPHIX Mafia.com. Let them know that OLP sent you. They do go to shows as well, so if you're there, go support them. They'll print some stuff out, whether you want to put your little handle name from TikTok or any of those different social sites, they can do it. So really, we covered so much. I had a few things that I'll just hit on, and I'm going to keep this as brief as I can. So, we'll kind of keep things fresh here. The one big scene update that I wanted to cover this week, and this is just going to be the one. It's Chris Billy Bob Mole, one of our brothers. I love that he came down to Florida last year, but he posted on April 25th. This is mind-blowing to me. I cannot begin to tell you how in shock I am to discover that my Datsun is on the cover of the newest Truck Hub magazine, along with a 20-page feature. Now, Truck Hub is no stranger to putting out some amazing features. They really hone in on the details of these builds, and we've never seen this from a truck magazine in my experience ever. Now, maybe on some high-end kind of exotic cars. I know there's been some different publications and whatnot, but you're talking mini trucks. Dude, crazy. This Datsun 320, NL 320, amazing truck. I mean, it was in Street Truck's booth at SEMA. I'm going to be picking up a copy, and I tell you, man, tip of the cap. Billy Bob, man, dude, you've had so much success with this truck, man. I can't wait to see what you're going to do next, but rest assured, bask in that success, dude, for real. The scene update's brought to you by Garage Gear Clothing. Hit up garagegearclothing.com. Crystal reinforced to me at Mini Nats. It's free $99. It's absolutely zero shipping. It's garagegearclothing.com. And she said, hey, we do that because those that can't make it to all the shows, they can still go online and have some fun and get in on Garage Girl, the kids' apparel, and oh, by the way, the dudes, they got it all, garagegearclothing.com. All right, key show update. So keeping things light, I think what we're going to start doing is maybe once a month really, really hitting the schedule hard. I tend to sometimes think that I'm overdoing it with the amount of shows that we talk about. Although when I talk to people at shows, they say, no, I like the segment. I do like to hear what's coming up, but not to overdo it. What we pretty much have is in 2 weeks, you got Battle in Bama. That's the same weekend as Cruise to the Pines from Phoenix to Prescott. A week after that, you have Relaxin' in the Park St. Louis, which I think is just referred to as Relaxin' in the Park. And, of course, we've talked about that where it's basically Festus, Missouri. So there's more info out there, Relaxin' in the Park, just how it sounds, on Facebook. They do have an Instagram as well. They do have a website, Relaxin' in the Park. And Jason Bell, a.k.a. DJ Mays, has done a great job of maintaining some of this, the site and the content out there. I know Asphalt Army has played a major role in their artwork. So, fantastic show. We've been before. Mike is booked. I don't know that I'm going to make it just based upon flights from Tampa. I'm still continuing to look. Again, it's not the flight cost. For me, it's more the scheduling piece. So, just know if you can get out there, please try to. Now, I've said all that, right? So the same weekend as Relaxin' in the Park is Made of Steel show here in Tampa. So the good thing is my backup plan is if I can't somehow make it up there, I would encourage everyone, including myself, to get out to Made of Steel show. The cool thing about it is it's in Dover. It's a Friday, Saturday. So it's the 20th and 21st. And that's pretty cool to me. It's a unique perspective. They have a huge stereo side, and if you're not into the stereo stuff, well, that's in the back area. You've got a covered area. You've got some vendors that'll be out there. You've got a good old time at Made of Steel Show. Again, Facebook, Instagram, same deal, more info. That's all I'm going to cover for shows right now. If I missed anything, I apologize, but I do want to let everyone know that you can get out to minitruckfilm.com. Some people probably scratch their head and say, is that a real thing? Yeah, minitruckfilm.com. Order the West Coast Influence. You can go right there under shop, and you can pick out a DVD or Blu-ray. There's also a couple items left, including a Datsun 620 mini truck Hot Wheel. There's some stickers as well. Pretty cool stuff. The West Coast influence. Let Radar know that OLP sent you. Next week, we'll cover any of the podcast updates, but I did want to tell everyone that if you're a day one listener, it looks like we're going to have the pre-sale start hopefully today for the Time Machine merchandise. A lot of people have asked us, so thank you. This is a little bit different because we outed the artwork. We had Joey with Get Decked do the skate decks. They sold out. We had Brant and team, of course, do the artwork. We had banners and stickers at Mini Nats. And then, oh, by the way, everyone's asking, when are we going to get the real deal, the hoodies, the tanks, and the tees? And that is hopefully going to go, again, on sale. Mike and I have had a busy week. Mike is trying to get the inventory ready and all of that. And hopefully we'll launch it Friday. If not, it'll be kind of over the weekend. We're talking about a 2-week pre-sale, to maybe hit 2 different Fridays for people with payday and stuff. But we'll get those details out. Just know this artwork is epic. You guys have seen it. And it's a unique thing because we had the buzz now. And everyone's asking, hey, when can I get it? You'll be able to pre-order it. This is the kind of a new direction. We're only going to do the separate colors in a pre-sale. So instead of us ordering, a couple of these, a couple reds, a couple blues, we're going to kind of stop that because from an inventory management standpoint, not easy. Then you get to a show and someone goes, oh, I want one of those red ones, and we have like one red of one color, and it's tough to manage. So if you do want different colors, whichever colors we end up offering, know that during the pre-sale you're going to have to get in on those. If not, you'll end up with black, which, by the way, is all of our favorite colors as mini truckers. So that's that. 2 Airhead Nation updates. I mean, this one's a little tough, man. Greg Miller, we lost him, and, that was a tough thing. Greg was a close friend of ours, and what's ironic is, Greg and I were talking last year at this time about going to Relaxin'. And, I didn't get a chance to go up there, and that was the last time I was going to hang out with him. But, I say all that, we've talked about the loss of our friend Greg and a big name, a big person in our scene, but his daughter Lauren Miller had posted on April 26th, earlier this week, that my daddy's sweet Cooper passed away in his sleep this morning. 17 years of being picky with eating, attitude, body scratches, etc. Their home won't be the same. So, rest in peace to Greg, as we always say to the big homie. And hopefully he's now reunited with his awesome pup. We all know all dogs go to heaven, so rest in peace, little pup. And to end on a positive note, I may have mentioned this earlier, but shout out to Colin Haggy. He had his truck given to him a year ago, kind of, turning that age where we all recall getting our first vehicle, and he's worked hard with his dad, Brian, this last year, and they got the chance to cruise in this. Colin had posted a photo, and it was so cool to see him cruising, throwing the piece up, his dad doing the same out the passenger side. And the color, they recently painted it, looked great. It's been lowered with Beltec. Shout out to Beltec. Those awesome Beltec products, wheels and tires, some other upgrades. Pretty cool, man. I love seeing it. Love seeing a younger dude like Colin get in this scene of ours. So tip of the cap. And he's out there doing the photography stuff. So we've given a shout out to his page, and it's In the Grass Photography. So go check it out. Airhead Nation updates brought to you by Hammered Weekend Wear. That's HAMMERD, weekendwear.com. I know Dizzy and Adam were holding it down at Mini Nats with the trailer. I want everyone to know that they also recently rolled out skate decks. I'm hoping this weekend to do a video of some of the things I came home and some of the stories and photos from Mini Nats. And one of those things was the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde skate deck featuring Ahead of You, also known as Sideshow Mini Truck. Joey at Get Decked took care of them. But the great thing is we continue to see an expansion of products from the Hammered Weekend Wear universe. And I love it. So get out there if you want to support someone that crisscrosses the country, the team, whether they're East Coast or West Coast. They are killing it. And you can go on HAMMERD, weekendwear.com. You can follow them on Facebook, Instagram. And I love what they're doing as they get sideways into the second half of 2022. So thank you, everyone, for listening. I told you I was going to keep the segment short. I don't know how I did it. Shout out to Mike for getting the trivia right earlier. Rest in peace to those astronauts we lost. Stay on the rise, and Lord willing, we'll hit you next week with another one. You know how we do. ODB, we got you.